Hello, I'm Josh Boker. I consume enough caffeine to fill a small mule, and you're watching The Peach Pitch, a music review channel where I review music. And today we are talking about the debut solo album from Lee Pardini titled Homebodies. Lee Pardini is a piano extraordinaire, really a piano player, often known as a touring musician who is most notably toured with Roger Waters, Elvis Costello, Phil Lesh, Cass McCombs, just to name a few. Most notably, he is a member of the LA rock band Dawes, who he joined in 2016. That's really where I got my interest in this record, really. I'm a big fan of Dawes and love Lee's work. Seeing him live is pretty fantastic too. If you have ever seen Dawes or should see Dawes, you'll notice that his piano playing is pretty awesome. Homebodies is the debut solo album that apparently has culminated 10 years in the making, contemplating these themes of what home means to you, in this case to Lee, like what home means to him, and really what makes it special to be categorized as something that's homey or being a homebody. This isn't just a solo venture, really, even though it has Lee just at the piano, like in the spacious galaxy. It's not just Lee here. This is a very collaborative project that features 6 other musicians, notably Jeff Parker, guitarist from Tortoise, and Dawes bandmate Griff Goldsmith on percussion and drums, and some other notable musicians on sax, pedal steel, other percussive elements too, and really trying to find that special sauce on that cheeseburger that you just ordered at your local restaurant. All of the other instruments besides the keys really make the keys a focal point, showcase Lee's talents on this record. They don't really overshadow the piano playing by any means. They really support it really well. Whether it's the swinging strings, saxophone being played too, or like I said, pedal steel or electric guitar, they're really nice elements on this record. The showcase on this thing are the keys. The keys are fantastic on this thing and are really moving and intense, often beautiful, really beautiful throughout the record. And Lee does a fantastic job, really, on this record. And they're all seem to be, I want to say most of these are original compositions, too. I'm not sure. I think a couple of these might be covers. Haven't done the research. The overall sound of this record is, I would say, pretty similar to that of the cover, that you're getting this very spacious, really enriching, engrossing culmination of all of these instruments. One of the best things about this record is the production, is how it's all being presented to you, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and which is really surprising, I guess, because with this record, I guess I was expecting just simple piano instrumentals. I wasn't really expecting this huge ensemble of all this instrumentation and musicianship coming together. It's really an awesome treat. It really is ear candy. This album is pure ear candy, like bottle caps for your ears. Many of the progressions are very often vintage. In a way, I think a lot of the sounds on this thing really remind me of sort of jammier jazz cuts, kind of reminding me of Herbie Hancock in a way. The opening track whatsoever is arguably the most beautiful song on the entire record. It's gorgeously rich and lush and really just cinematic too. It starts out being solely piano, but gradually rising with its swirling sort of psychedelic synthesized keys, and the swaying strings are very cinematic, kind of reminding me of like an orchestra, a whole orchestra that's being performed for like a James Bond film. Another highlight is the explosive main title, which I want to say was the lead single or one of the first singles to pop up. It's a proper intro, like not just showing how awesome the keys are. ETA might be my favorite on the album. It's certainly the most jammy and extensive and tastiest, the tastiest one of the bunch as well. Like if this was food, this would be the Zaxby's fried chicken on the entire record. Jeff Parker's electric guitar comes in near the end of the song and is really pretty abrasive in a way. Not too abrasive, but it's pretty loud and really is a nice touch on this thing. Kind of a nice transition to his electric guitar playing, which if you've heard Suite for Max Brown or if you've heard his contributions to Tortoise, it's really, you know how talented Jeff is with his guitar playing and with his compositional structures too. Sibley is a slow burner, but a stunner on this thing. It's 8 minutes long and really gradually progresses throughout the track. It gradually takes its time with its piano and strings, but if you stick with it, it really pays off because its ending is really lovely with its crashing cymbals, its swaying strings. One Day at a Time may also be one of my favorites on this thing. This album really is just a highlight reel of favorites. And I know I'm saying each track is my favorite, but like, it's true. Every track you listen to really just blows you away and can be your favorite. I mean, all of these are absolute bangers. One Day at a Time, it's plucky and chirpy piano in the beginning and throughout the track reminds me of the soundtrack and score to the Professor Layton video game series. If you've ever played Professor Layton, please do. It's for a Nintendo DS series that is still ongoing, and its music is very versatile and really beautiful and kind of harks back to early jazz music and classical music, and its piano really kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of somber, kind of a cloudy, rainy aesthetic to this track. Its saxophone on this track really plans out like a windy day. It kind of plays, its notes kind of just swirl through like wind. And the entire instrumental palette of this track really reminds me of some of Kamasi Washington's best ballads. LV, Envy, which I'm sure is named after Las Vegas, Nevada. Arguably the most explosive piano moments on the album. Overall, I do think with Homebodies, it's a really great listen and really fun and really enriching, beautiful, lush. And I think if you're a fan of jazz music or just contemporary jazz music too, or maybe some vintage jazz, I think you'll definitely find some things out of this. Or if you really just enjoy the piano and its many playings, it's really well crafted, really well put together, very carefully put together. It sounds like it's almost like meticulously really just placed. All in all, it really showcases Lee's work and how great of a musician he is. These guys have sound like they've been playing with each other for years and years. This definitely does not sound like a debut album. This sounds like they just sound like veterans. Well produced, well put together, really professionally like well done. Like this thing sounds like a Grammy award winning, like on a production and engineering standpoint. Homebodies overall is a very special personal album from Lee, and I think he's really found his home on this record, honestly. If I would rate this out of 10, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty great album. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. What I've lost in my hairline, I've only grown in my love for music. The Peach Pitch. Thank you very much. I'm planning on doing more reviews soon, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah.